All right, so we're down here at a different day, so definitely a little dressed differently, and it's morning time, so I hope you're doing awesome. So we're going to keep moving on. So we've done the product and the price, and now we're going to move into place. Now, over the years, I've got the first bullet point here. This can be any number of meanings, and over the years, I've certainly heard that. And so, if you're like, well, I was in this marketing class, or I read this marketing book, and place was talking about this, or it was talking about that. I get that. Sometimes I'll hear when I ask, what are the 4 P's of marketing? Somebody will throw out placement and whatever, like that's fine. It actually, the bigger the bucket that you have to use to describe place, the better, because it gets us thinking about what is marketing. And remember, marketing is that organizational process. And so that shouldn't be confined to one simple definition. So in fact, the broader that we have and the more we're thinking about it, the better. So in this case, it's place. So variety interpretations, your place of business, the feel, okay? The feel of your business, the image, the experience. So I always use the example of take Toyota. Okay, if I go into a Toyota dealership and then I go into a BMW dealership, it's probably going to be a different experience. There's a different feel. And that's part of the marketing effort, right? Like if I buy a Tesla or I buy, a Mercedes-Benz, I'm going to have a slightly different experience than if I go into, a Kia or a Honda. And there's nothing wrong with those cars, but they have a different image. There's a different feel. There's a different experience. And marketing companies, or people that are high up in marketing, they'll talk about this. They're always trying to create an experience because that's what really sucks in a customer, all right? And that's what, keeps you, you're a raving fan. I've heard that term a lot. You become a raving fan of the actual brand. And I want to feel the brand when I go into your place of business. So if I buy like a BMW, I want to walk into the dealership and I want to feel the ultimate driving experience. That's what I want to feel, okay? And Tesla, if you've ever been into a Tesla shop, they have them in certain high-end malls. It's all technology. Everything is automated, and that's what they want. They want to be a technology company, and they want you to feel that experience. And so your place of business should mirror what you're trying to, portray. I can also tell you even in the smaller general aviation industry. So I've been to the Piper delivery facility. It is very different than the Cirrus delivery. They're 2 very different owner experiences. If you're buying a Piper Archer, you are likely using that for the training fleet, and it is a different kind of buyer, and it's a different experience than if you buy a brand new Cirrus SR22 or even a Vision Jet. You want a different experience. And so the place of business needs to meet the customer's expectation for what they have when you show up. Okay. Now, the other thing here is this can also refer to your geographic location. You've probably heard when buying real estate, the 3 most important things are location, location, and location. So for example, if I build an FBO on the Grand Forks Airport and I build my FBO, let's say, way down on the south end of Taxiway Uniform on my way to 35 Right, I'm not going to get a ton of business. Why? Because most of the people that are buying bigger gas volumes, so your corporate operators, those types of folks, they have to land on 35 left. There's no way they're going to taxi all the way over to my FBO over here. So location is critically important. Where you are on the airport, your access to your business. So again, if you're way over on the far end of the airport, they might not even plow your taxiway in the winter or, whatever. There's those types of challenges as well. And then location driving into the airport. If your business is way far away from the city, let's say that you're on let's just say Grand Forks. Let's assume you're on the north side of the east-west runways. That would mean they'd have to go all the way around the airport to get to your FBO. Maybe it's convenient for aircraft, but then the first time or two a pilot lands there to bring, somebody up to have a meeting in Grand Forks, they're never coming back to your FBO. They're like, man, that adds 15 minutes driving time. So your geographic location and the access to your airport is super, super, super important. And those are things that, once you build or sign a 5-year lease, you can't undo. You're kind of stuck with that. You're committed. And so it's very, very important that we consider the place of our business before we get into it. Okay, so place is very important. And then the last one, and this is, by the way, this is what everybody thinks in terms of promotion, okay? So when I use promotion when I think of marketing, I usually think of promotion. I'm thinking of advertising. And so advertising is one area of 1P of marketing. And this is what we usually think of, okay? So advertising in terms of, newspaper ads, magazine ads, TV commercials. Those are the things that I think about when I really think of marketing. I'm thinking of promotion, and underneath promotion, I'm thinking of advertising. But really, when I promote a business, I'm promoting it in so many different ways. And I will say that now through online marketing, so you have things like pay-per-clicks and that type of stuff. And then you also have social media marketing via influencers and those types of things. Click-through advertising, people who have blogs who will then recommend products through their platform, which will then earn them a commission. There are so many really creative ways that people promote their products and services. Back to like when I was younger, all we had was pretty much advertising. You would have you would see something on TV, you'd see it in a newspaper or a magazine, and then maybe, mom or grandma would, read the paper and find the newspaper clippings. That was so common back then, was to find those. Those are advertisements, okay? And that's one form of promoting. And then the only other thing that we had probably back then was you always had direct salespeople, right? You always had the door-to-door people. And nothing wrong with door-to-door sales. It used to be fairly normal to do door-to-door sales. And that's still done in a variety of circumstances. However, there are so many more efficient ways to get your business out there than trying to go door-to-door. Okay, so you can promote this in a variety of ways. Advertising, referrals, it's kind of like what you see like a blogger, right? A blogger or somebody who does some sort of social media influencing, they're going to have a system to refer, which then allows them to get a commission and to get paid. So how do you promote yourself? Think about this. How do I promote myself in terms of trying to get a job? If I'm trying to get a job, people always say like, well, I send my stuff off online, I do a job application. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And when there's periods of incredibly high demand for pilots, that might work. And all of a sudden your application comes in, great. Okay, now I've got this great pilot, I can pull their application, give them a call. But on the flip side, like right now, as we're coming out of the coronavirus situation, or major, like the legacy carriers, you need to work harder to get yourself in front of these people that are going to take a look, all right? So that means typically internal recommendations. So like you're going to go to Delta or United or American, you typically need somebody from internally to send an email or however they do an internal recommendation to have your file pulled. And then you want to have other internal references and recommendations so that you get looked at. And you think, oh, that can't possibly be it. It is how it works, okay? So we need to make sure that we're able to promote ourselves. And by the way, it's never been easier to promote ourselves in the history of the world than today. So I tell people, look, if you're trying to network, okay, once a day, or even if you want to start out with once a week, go onto Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever you want to use, okay, find somebody that you know is a UND alum and shoot them a message and try to keep up with the same person once a quarter. And find like what are their interests, what are their sports hobbies, or if they follow the Bulls, if they're posting Chicago Bulls on there. When you email them or message them, Google how the Bulls are doing or how they do last season, and just say, hey Bob, hope you're doing awesome. Saw the Bulls are doing good this year. Just saying hello. You're keeping in contact with those people over a period of time so that when the time to move on a job or when the time to move on an application at Delta or United or whatever you're trying to do, once that opportunity comes, that's when you can reach out to your network and ask for that internal recommendation, okay? So there's always ways that we need to be promoting ourselves in a systematic way. So if you did one person a week, that's 50 people. You could say, I'm going to do one new contact every week. Okay, find somebody who went to UND. Okay, you can kind of stalk online, find out where they went to school. And if you're like, hey, Bob or, Jane graduated from UND in 98. And now they're at United Airlines. Okay, send Jane, a Facebook request. And then, somehow get a note to Jane and be like, hey, saw you graduate UND. I'm a senior at UND. Just, wanted to say hi. And typically, UND alums stick together, okay? Typically, not always, but typically, Facebook is a great platform to connect those UND alum. So if you connect with Jane from 1998 or whatever, Again, once a quarter, just drop a note. Hey, how's it going? And remember, if Jane posts a lot about her kids and she's really like, hey, my son is a junior in high school and made the varsity football team. Cool. Just say, hey, I know I've never met, but saw your family looks like they're doing awesome. I'm graduating from UND, just saying hello. Whatever. You're trying to make a personal connection as you get older so that when you become a regional airline captain and Jane now has progressed down the road at her career, you continue to have those connections. Okay, so very, very important to maintain those connections. So anyway, referrals. Think about like a referral. That's what you're looking for at an airline. You're looking for an internal referral or recommendation for you. Super, super important. I even put here on a date. If you're trying to promote yourself for a date, okay, you can use the same process. Now again, I'm not saying that I don't believe in true love or that, you might find the right person in the right moment. That's all great. I'm not denying that. But my point is, if you use a systematic process and you're like, I need a date for Friday night, or I'm trying to date a number of people to see, not at the same time, trying to date, a few people to find out the person that I, eventually will hopefully fall in love with and get married or whatever it is that you're trying to do. If your goal is a date for Friday night, okay, using the same theory works, okay? You can try to, get all nervous and freaked out about one person that you're going to ask out. Or you could say, maybe this is a bit excessive, but these 20 people have similar interests to me. I am at least somewhat attracted to them. And you could go up to those 20 people and use the 4 P's of marketing to make yourself look sharp, okay, right? You want the product to look decent, all right? All of these things. Hopefully you're not paying, but your date, you might have to think of price, okay? Some people have a higher taste and some people have, hey man, sweats and t-shirts and let's grab some, fast food is fine with them, right? And there's different prices. So anyway, maybe it's a bad comparison. But nevertheless, if you use a systematic marketing process and you were to ask 20 people, if you would just go up to them, you dress nice, you're polite, you smile, you don't seem too creepy, and you just say, hey, my name is Bob, I've seen you around whatever, UND or whatever it is, just want to know if maybe you'd like to grab dinner sometime or grab a cup of coffee or whatever it is. Okay, now I realize you guys also have other easier ways to, meet people, but nevertheless, if you ask 20 people out for a cup of coffee, the chances, if you at least know them or you have some referral, a friend of theirs who can refer you, if you ask 20 people out for a cup of coffee or a dinner date or whatever it is, the chances of someone saying yes go up the more people that you ask, as long as you're doing it in a systematic, professional, nice way. And it's the same thing with the job. If you're willing to perform a systematic approach to getting that job, and you're focusing on these things, your product, your resume, your airline application, your USA Jobs application, all of those things, if you're putting the effort into those things, just like through a whole marketing concept, you'll have a much better chance of getting the job, getting the date, getting whatever it is you're trying to do. Help your nonprofit grow, whatever it is. So remember, the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. And if you use those 4 P's in anything that you're seeking to do, I can promise you're going to be super successful. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I will get the validation quiz on there. Make sure you take the validation quiz that verifies you watched all the videos. And we'll start later this week on the next lecture. Thanks, guys.